It's the morning after the loss, and we're still, the Arsenal fans are still somewhere. I hope a lot of them are listening to us right now. And, Man City, predictions yesterday, who got it right, who got it wrong. The team is here. Faraway is here. Charles is here. Good morning, Faraway.
Good morning. I don't think anybody got it wrong. People were also naked when they said they were scared. I'm not scared.
No. Shegun said Arsenal.
Oh, okay.
Shegun said Arsenal would win.
Okay. He was praying in his mind. That was more like a prayer. It was on the mountain.
He said it was a prophecy.
So when we told people that scared, as a lies Lamba, did that team look scared? Did they look anxious?
No, probably they were scared. But when they got there, scoring a 7-minute goal put them in the right
Man City
mind.
were not scared. When they got, before the pre-match for Man City, they brought the trophy, the Premier League trophy out before the game, just to show us now. Psychological warfare.
Okay.
We're already trying to work on them from there. Beg. City won. There was nothing that was going to happen otherwise.
No, but it was embarrassing the way Arsenal played. I don't think El Kanemi Warriors could have done any worse, to be honest. And that's the team at the bottom half, the least team in Nigeria's Premier League as we speak. El Kanemi and Nasarawa United, they couldn't have done any worse. It was a terrible display.
What I thought the manager could have done, this is my opinion, was at 2-0 down, reduce the defeat, lock up, play defensive. And people say, he's a student of Pep Guardiola, that's how they play, they don't know how to play. No, and I go, no. He has picked philosophies from Wenger. Remember that he also played under David Moyes. Play the Moyes style now, lock shop. Don't increase the margin. You're not going to beat City.
Moyes lost yesterday.
Oh, well, but he's complaining. He said VR made him lose. And Moyes was saying, I'm just saying that you must not always play free-flowing, because we complain about Pep, that Pep overthinks
If you've got players like Arsenal do, who are forward-thinking, who are, their mindset is to play attacking football. It's and if you've been doing that all season, and you've been winning matches all season by virtue of your kind of football, and because of that, you're sitting on top of the log, and then you're playing the champions of the Premier League. Why would you want to sit back and be defensive?
You'll sit back because, number one, you've lost to this team twice this year already.
Doesn't matter.
As a matter of fact, and you have found it difficult to score against them. Number two, you'll sit back because it may also get down to goals difference. And if it gets down to goals difference, 4-1, so that means you've already had -3 from whatever you've accumulated before. Off again. I'm saying that, look, why not think about it from a pragmatic point?
Because I even think it's their desire not to go gung-ho is the reason why they lost.
No.
Because they didn't want to play out and out attacking football.
No, but City...
At some point, they were cautious.
City didn't go gung-ho. City played... what's his name? Grealish wasn't overlapping.
No, I'm not even talking about... I'm talking about Arsenal themselves.
I'm saying that
they didn't go gung-ho.
I'm saying that even City, who are the odd favourites, did not go out that we're going to bury you. City were playing, we'll hit you on the counter, we'll hit you in this transition.
Exactly. Exactly. So wasn't it? It must have been shocking, really, for the City players and the manager to see how Arsenal played. It must have been shocking.
No, it's like saying, what's this word in chess? You let the pawns go first. So City allowed Arsenal play their hands out. So you're running, covering, pressing. We just send the long ball. Haaland is tall. Haaland can control the ball, and Haaland had 2 assists yesterday. Using the long ball.
But can Arsenal still win the league?
Possible, yeah. I know, but it's possible. Mathematically, points on the board.
Points on
the board. There are 5 games for Arsenal. There are 7 games
for City.
7.
And so City has
2 games outstanding games because of Champions League football.
But like we always say, points on the board. And
there's no assurance that City can win those particular games. Defeating Arsenal is not a guarantee. That their next set of games will be 3 points in the bag. But having said that, the tail end
win their next 5 matches.
That's where the question lies.
That's not win their next 2 matches.
That's where now they've got Newcastle.
Yes,
Newcastle will not be a walk in the park.
They'll beat Chelsea. They'll beat Chelsea. Lampard has not won a Premier League game. And he's been coaching this season.
The last time Forgotten Charles said Chelsea won't lose any other match.
I'm sure he has to go and check that prediction again.
It wasn't a prediction. It was a wish. It was a wish. I was very hopeful that
Lampard.
The worst had come and gone with Real Madrid. That was what I thought that would be a reset button, for the managers and the players themselves. But unfortunately, that was not the case.
The last game in the Premier League Lampard won was in October. I think October 1st, sometime in October.
Lampard, if you add this game, has played 18 matches, and won only one.
Wow,
18 and won only one of 18 matches. How somebody somewhere, because I fail to believe that Todd Bowley on his own decided to give Frank Lampard the job. I honestly fail to believe that he could conjure a Frank Lampard in his mind and say this man should take up this responsibility. There was a name that cropped up in the course of stories making the rounds. Somebody who is supposedly close to Todd Bowley, and knows Frank Lampard, and kind of pressurized, Todd Bowley to give Lampard the job. And, of course, stating the very obvious about being a club legend, having been there before, players respect him in quotes and all the whatnot. So he got the job, which Lampard ultimately denied, a few days after. But I can imagine that Todd Bowley is sitting back now and having nightmares.
Lampard is look, for me, maybe club legend, maybe race privilege. There's no reason why he should have that job. There's no reason, because he has not proven any reason.
If you want to give a real club legend, John Terry was jobless. On an interim basis. Try somebody else. John Terry was jobless. Now he's at Leicester City.
Okay. I'll try Claude Makalele.
But I still persist that Bruno Salto should have been left in charge until the end of the season by virtue of that one thing that he did against Liverpool. But that's water on the bridge. It's all gone away. For Arsenal, what's his name? The Arsenal legend, Thierry Henry, did say that he believes that the Arsenal players have been overcome by emotion.
Yes.
Yes. Emotion is
that? The emotion of great expectation.
Okay.
The whole idea of Arsenal this season was to finish in the top 4, get Champions League football. Especially knowing that they were beaten to it by Tottenham by just a point last season. So it was very painful. So the game plan this season was finish in the top 4, and then we'll take it up from there. So finding themselves in this situation where they are on the verge of winning the Premier League title, you're overcome by it.
It's a bit overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. I was speaking to Ipeba on Monday, and I asked him, look, as a footballer who's been there before, for a manager, it's different. You might think about it, but you're telling the players, look, it's one game at a time. Forget about the trophy. Forget about being champions. You're not yet there, Think about one game at a time. But he says that from a player's perspective, because he's been there, you're not thinking about one game at a time. You're thinking about lifting the trophy. And that kind of mindset,
that mad rush,
that mad rush takes away every pragmatic fiber in your body. You're not thinking realistically. All you're looking at is, we're going to be crowned champions, especially when you have so many points ahead of you and everybody around the country is talking about Arsenal and how well they're doing, how, pragmatic the manager is, the possibilities. The players are looking at that trophy being laced with the red ribbons for the first time in God knows how many years. So you've got to walk away from that emotion and be a bit more pragmatic. Think about what's in front of you.
So that means the psychologists are failing. The team psychologists.
No, I think the coach, I want to drop this on the manager's doorstep, because you brought in players who have won the Premier League before, who've been in and around big competitions. So you brought in Jorginho, who's won the Champions League, who's won the European Championship. You brought in Gabriel, you brought in Zinchenko, who won the Premier League. At times like this, you need those sort of people. Partey. You need those sort of people to step up. Yesterday, Partey didn't look like he was going to step up. He looked like emotionally he was into the game. City were trying to provoke you, and you were falling for the trap. You're getting angry, you react. And I'm like, look, you're the ones who, because when Jorginho came on, Jorginho was like, everyone calm down. Calm down. This is what we should do. You, arrange, move here, open for me. You need to see that sort of leadership from those players who've been there before at the highest level. And I thought I didn't see enough of those leadership. Yes, we can talk about Saka is a young player. Martinelli is a young player.
No, I don't like to hear that.
No, when I mean young player,
I don't like to hear that.
When I say young, Saka has not had a Premier League run like this. If you put a Foden in this same mix now, Foden has been there before. He knows what it's like to battle for the Premier League. But Saka has not been there. Yesterday, nobody in Arsenal, Odegaard, we spoke about Odegaard here. Odegaard he's the captain, couldn't take the responsibility of saying, okay, you know what, everyone, we need to reset, calm down. This is what we need to do. Nobody was lifting the team. For the last 4 games, Arsenal had just been going down. And no one is pushing them, saying, okay, you know what, everybody. So what's the role of the manager? That's your job. You are the one steering the ship. You need to also say, everyone pipe down. Social media, go off of it. Let's focus on one game at a time.
Yeah, well, based on your arguments, you could also say that you could also absolve the manager, of these ills, because he's never been here before either.
Yeah, but you're the leader. You're the one taking them.
Yeah, but he's never managed a team, being at the helm of affairs. Maybe you can't count when he won it with Pep Guardiola because he was the assistant.
No,
but he's never been at the helm of affairs of a team
that is about to win.
The title. So, he also can have his own failings as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But ultimately, whatever the case, I think Arsenal have ruffled a few feathers. They have. They've made their intent very clear. But you've got to remember that if they do lose the title, that would be one title too many.
So I'm going to ask.
It'd be one title too many.
I was asking Isoken this question yesterday. If Arsenal and United finish in the top 4, who's had the better season?
United, of course. United
won the cup.
United, of course.
Because Arsenal are saying they want to finish in the top 4. But what about the other 2 cups? Should have pushed more for one of those 2 cups. You went for the Premier League, so that means you need to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Go the whole 9 years, finish it.
They were ultimately one of the favourites for the Europa League.
Yeah.
They were.
But United went further in the Europa League, one stage further. United won a cup. United last year were bad. Because I know they'll say, United spent millions. United were bad last year. Brought in a new manager. And I won the League Cup this year. So I'm saying if both of them finish in the top 4, which one would have had the better season overall?
Definitely United. Definitely.